Hello and welcome to Cheppy Today. I'm Will and I'll be going through some of the most talked about topics in crypto. If you want to be kept up to date with the discussion, remember to give us a like and to subscribe. So, sentiment around Bitcoin seemed to be especially prominent last week, which may have had something to do with the breakthrough to $4,000 and the relative stability that followed. Or perhaps it's just the perpetual hopium flowing through the Bitcoin bull's veins. Either way, the commentary was extremely positive, with quite a few notable names predicting hefty price predictions for BTC, as well as providing justification for such. So we're starting this off not only in chronological order, but also ascending price order, from say here, quite reasonable, to way up here. So, first up, Arthur Hayes. Bitmex CEO Arthur Hayes offered the cautiously optimistic price of $10,000 per BTC by the end of 2019. In a Bitmex newsletter under the subheading Get Excited, Hayes suggested that while the majority of 2019 would be quite boring, the end of the year would see green shoots appearing. In his view, the Fed and the Chinese monetary authorities have all but given up on increasing interest rates and governing credit growth, something that leaves room for growth in the markets and a fair bit of extra pocket money for investors. In Hayes' exact words, and sounding more like he's had one too many pints down the pub rather than writing a newsletter, he said, after 2 years of wage cucking, punters should have a few shekels to rub together. Great. So why 10,000? Well, first of all, 10k is a very significant psychological barrier. And again, in Hayes' own words, it's a nice sexy round number. Although according to Hayes, a full recovery for Bitcoin would only count if there was a return to $20,000. However, it seems uncertain that wage cucking and a few extra shekels will actually help us get to 20k, but who knows. Next up, we have the chief marketing analyst at Think Market, named Allison. Stepping up the predictions somewhat, Allison believes that Bitcoin could potentially go as high as $400,000. The analyst first laid out reasons as to why 4K was such an important battleground between the bulls and the bears of Bitcoin, adding that this level has become life or death for crypto traders. However, for long-term holders, Allison added that these levels are pretty inconsequential, stating that the value proposition for BTC in his eyes was around 400k. In justification for this massive prediction, the analyst suggested that the next bull run could usher Bitcoin's price 5 times higher to 100,000k. As for 400k, Allison stated that this isn't simply sentiment, but instead a simple calculation, approximating the percentage projection of the price we experienced during the last bull run. Next up, we have the eternally bullish Mike Novogratz. In a recent interview, Novogratz rehashed the idea of Bitcoin overtaking the value of gold, particularly taking over gold's market cap of $8 trillion. While Novogratz admits that BTC increasing by 100 times over the next 2 years is a bit ludicrous, or in other words, batshit insane, he did believe that it's possible in the long run. And not only possible, but in his own words, easily achieved. This is thanks to the imminent influx of institutional investment, such as BAT and Fidelity's crypto custody solution. Novogratz also pointed to other players entering the scene, such as Goldman Sachs, who he believes is warming up to the idea of dealing with security tokens. Now, with some quick, simple calculations, we can calculate what the price of BTC would be if it managed to reach the market cap of gold. 8 trillion divided by 21 million. Let me just work that out. That's a little over $380,000 per BTC. Not bad at all. However, this prediction is not quite as bullish as our last forecasters, Tim Draper.
Bitcoin hustle, yeah. Get your hustle going, flex your crypto muscle.
Truly one of the greatest artists of our time. Interestingly, alongside his day job as a rapper, Draper is also somewhat of a Bitcoin aficionado. Last week, Draper provided one of the most bullish BTC predictions ever made. Simply put, Draper augured a price point of $4 million per BTC. His reason? Bitcoin eclipsing fiat. Draper believes that if Bitcoin can replace fiat, BTC would be looking at, and I quote, 1,000 times the current price. Perhaps one of the more notable parts of Draper's prediction was his assumption that in 5 years' time, buying a burger or coffee with fiat would result in mockery. So while in theory this seems like a reason to get excited, it's also erring on the side of optimism. And that's putting it lightly. For fiat to be completely eradicated to the point where someone is laughed at for using it would most likely take a little longer than 5 years. Maybe even a global economic crash or two, a couple of revolutions, and a run on a few hundred major banks. But maybe not. Not if banks willingly buy BTC. This theory is actually posited by Garrick Heasman, a research associate at the London School of Economics, who argued that if central banks such as the Federal Reserve start buying Bitcoin, we may see an unprecedented wave of demand. In Heasman's impression, this could be helped further by regulation, which he believes, much to the contrary of others, Bitcoin responds positively to. And he could be correct. Regulation will not only give institutional investors and big banks further peace of mind, but it could also legitimize Bitcoin as a whole. So regardless of whether this latest slew of predictions actually hold any any weight. They do serve as a reminder of the potential of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We may not know what the future holds in store for the industry, but we are able to guess how cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin may change that future. But as always, we'd love to hear your take on the topics discussed. Where do you think Bitcoin is headed? Will it ever overtake gold? So leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.